What's up, guys? It's your boy, the GUIDO, and we are back with another amazing video. Thank you so much for stopping in, hanging out with us a little bit today. We are continuing to have conversations with characters behind the Academy Roleplay server. And we had an amazing conversation with BCSO Sheriff Willard. And he really talks about what it's like to be the sheriff, but a little bit more behind the scenes. It's a different kind of conversation than we've had so far. I had an absolute blast. I know that you will as well. I can't wait to get to it. Before we do that, though, if you are interested in GTA 5 roleplay server, or maybe you're looking for a new server to be a part of, man, I invite you to come hang out with us at the Academy. We have an absolute blast. It's a fun playing the game, but really, you find out that it's way more than a game. It's community, it's family, and so we'd love for you to come in, hang out there with us. There's a link right here. It just popped up. Go to that link. It'll also be in the description, and you can find out some more information about the Academy. Hey, also, I'd love it while you're watching the video, hit the like button. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you like the videos. If you like these videos, if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. What are some questions that we could ask future interviewees and all of that kind of good stuff? I want to hear what you're thinking. So leave me a comment, leave me an emoji, let me know. And if you hadn't hit the subscribe button, why don't you go ahead and do that as well. All right, that's enough of me talking for right now. I want you to hear more of me talking inside this video as we get to talk to Sheriff Willard. All right, let's get into it. I appreciate so much you jumping in and hanging out. You should be able to hear him now. Everybody good? Give me a what's up.
Can y'all hear me now?
There we go. All right, there we go. Shout out.
It's probably better if you left me muted, honestly.
No, not at all, man. We're gonna be rocking and rolling here. It's my first time streaming. I've never done this before, so we got to figure it out.
Hey, it's my first time too.
Shout out. We're just gonna figure it out together, my guy.
All right, good.
Very cool. Well, man, thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate it. I'm excited about our conversation because I think we're going to get to have a different kind of conversation than I've been able to have before. So I'm excited about being able to get into that. But I want to start. Let's start here. Tell us about you, man. So we know Sheriff Willard inside the game, but the whole point of this, man, is to kind of get behind the character. Who is the character? So tell us a little bit about you, bro.
I'm a firefighter paramedic in Georgia. I'm a mutt of sorts. I've got some Leo knowledge and background, but I firefighter paramedic in Georgia. I work for a small county in Georgia, about 200 square miles. Very small. We're still a one-man station. Got 2 little girls and one on the way. She'll be here. We're being induced on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll have the third girl here. I've got a wife, 3 girls, and 2 female dogs. So I'm outnumbered as can be.
You got no shot, bro. You're out of luck all the way.
Out of luck. I'm completely out of luck.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I volunteered for a while. Worked full time in a college town for a long time. Got a lot of interesting experience. So. Other than that, I enjoy my time in the city when I get it, and
Yeah, very cool. And I just learned this. You actually live right down the road from me. Like in theory, it's right down the road, just about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, I mean when you think that most of our people, you got people in Washington and Maine and Canada. We got so many people in Canada. Yep. It's nice when we're only an hour away. I mean, I live in Athens, Georgia, so go Dogs. I can say that for another year at least.
No, it's yours, man. You say it, bro.
We finally got our natty, so yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. So you are, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but you've kind of got some experience in fire, EMT. You kind of served in that in those capacities for a little bit. Anything about that? Like, kind of what drew you to that? What kind of got you interested in that line of work?
So when I was 2, or 3, not 2, I was like 3. 3.5. And
I like that you know the difference between 2 and 3, because to me,
well,
like I was eating crayons at both. You know what I mean?
Now that I'm a parent, like I can see the difference in
Yeah.
my kids.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I asked my mom. I was like, "Hey, can I be a cop?" And she said no. And I said, "Well, can I be a firefighter?" And she said yes. And it was like, okay, I don't know what the difference is about like fighting fire and being in burning buildings versus getting shot at, but
Yeah,
that was her thought process.
I got you. All right, very
So
cool.
I grew up around a large department right down the road from here, from where I live. Very large department. Grew up, had family in it, and saw the inner workings of how that worked. Got out of high school and decided to go to college to start working on that. So, and ever since I went full time into it, I did some other stuff in the meantime before I went full time into EMS. But once I went full time into it, man, I haven't worked a day in my life since.
Awesome, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So a dad of 2, about to have a third, married, 2 dogs. When you're the sheriff of BCSO, when you're not doing those things, man, what are you doing? Like what? How? When are you finding time, and what is it that you're doing when you're not doing those things?
You probably find me and my wife at a Cody Johnson concert.
Okay.
Or like last weekend we went to Kenny Chesney.
Very cool.
He's been a big influence in our relationship and our life. Our middle daughter's named after him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, her name's Chesney.
Okay. All
Just
right.
because his music, music. It's crazy how music entwines into our souls.
Sure.
And his music really entwined itself into our relationship and our life. And when we started talking about names when we were having our second, it was the only one that fit, and it fits her so well. Like if y'all could see her, like it fits her perfectly.
That's really cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, music is, it does connect us, and it's interesting how you can hear a song and it brings back like so many memories. Man, it can bring back like what I was smelling, what I was thinking, what I was.
Yeah.
It taps into so many senses inside of our being.
Well, and what's funny is Kenny Chesney has a song called "I Go Back," and he talks about how he can smell the salt on a Carolina straw. Talking
Yep.
about songs triggering that, and it's crazy how our brain works to make that stuff happen. Like
Yeah.
it just, and what blows my mind is I can't remember the passcode to my phone sometimes, but I can remember the lyrics to a song that I heard in high school.
Oh, 100%.
Like 18 years ago. So.
No, that is 100% true. Hey, another thing that you mentioned to me as we were kind of getting ready for tonight is you kind of did some radio work, like you kind of called some games and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did some broadcasting, small radio station. I know Jeremy Mixon's in the chat watching. He knows the radio station we have here in town.
Yeah.
My dad still works there, actually.
Very cool.
But 18, started calling dirt track races, and then did some radio, did like afternoon drive country music on this small radio station. I thought I was the king of country. Nobody knew my name. Nobody knew the station, but I thought it was cool. So
yeah, absolutely.
But I broadcasted high school football on Friday nights for a while, and what was cool about that was getting to interact with the players themselves, because they think it's the coolest thing in the world that somebody comes and sticks a microphone in their face.
Yeah.
Like they probably, most of them, especially in the time period that I did it, will never go anywhere, but they enjoyed it, and that was the cool part.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, so that kind of brings us to, well, let me ask this. There was one more thing I want to ask you. So you play the Academy when you have time and you're at concerts. Any other games? Like, are you a gamer? Like, is there any other thing that you kind of get into, or is this kind of it for you?
Man, if it weren't for Tony Messer, I wouldn't even play this game. I played Xbox for a while. I was never a COD player. Like it wasn't my thing. I played it, but my brother was so much better at it than me that it always made me angry. So I never really got into it. But I played Far Cry. Like I played every game in the Far Cry series because those are pretty good games. But otherwise, no, man. I quit playing games altogether. Baseball was a big part of my life. I played, and then my brother, with our age difference, I was able to coach him his whole career. So it's kind of cool that I was able to do that. And then once we had our first baby, baseball ended. So that was what I did for a long time. So now it's like I don't do anything else other than go to work and come home. I mean,
sure,
lately.
Absolutely. All right, so that kind of brings us to the idea of the Academy, and so I want you to just kind of share your story, man. How did you get involved? Like you're not really a gamer. How did you get involved in this community, bro?
I was scrolling on TikTok one night, just going through, and came across this page. This guy, his name is Mark. I watched him for a while, and he would just keep popping up on my For You page on TikTok. So I'd watch him when I saw him. Started watching him on Twitch. I followed him over to Twitch. Well, one night he ended his stream, and in the suggested was Messer.
Okay.
Me and my wife were laying in bed and we were watching it, and like really, really enjoyed like the realistic. He was legitimate about what he was doing. Yeah. The role play was good, and I didn't even understand role play, so it was like, hey, this is cool. I just hit my 1 year with Messer this month, so that was in May.
Okay.
Watched him for a few months. In August, I downloaded GTA onto my wife's laptop. Absolutely could not run it. In fact, it fried the hard drive.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Played it, and I joined the Academy. When I first came into the server, I met Ricky and Mark and some people like that. And I was known as the guy that punched everybody in the face. Like we'd just be standing there and I'd just randomly punch you. And it was because my computer could not handle what we were doing. Dude, I was getting like 3 frames per second. I'm not kidding. 3 frames per second. And like I'd just be standing there and like some random person would walk up and I'd punch him in the face. And Ricky'd be like, or Mark or whoever, they'd be like, oh, that's JR. He just does that. It's okay. Like people would get mad. They're like, no, it's cool. Just let him be. So
that's his thing. He's got a tick or something.
So and Nixon was with me when I applied for the SO, which was like a month later. And my road eval was terrible. Like it was desync everywhere. Like I don't know why they passed me. I guess they felt bad for me. Like this dude's got such a bad computer. Like we have to pass him. Yeah. So got into the sheriff's office, and 3 to 6 weeks after that, it was like, I've got to do something. So I went and got a gaming laptop. And the first day I played in the city on this gaming laptop, bro, it was like, what in the world was I doing? Like, how was I even playing? Yeah. And I don't even have like the best situation now with it, but it's a lot better than where we were.
That's funny, man. That's a great story, and I like how so many people's story with the Academy start with, I was watching TikTok. like that seems to be across the board. So many people's story is they were watching TikTok and something, it just kind of triggered it. So, all right. So you go from punching people to you decide all of a sudden, yo, I'm gonna run for sheriff. And I think when I was getting involved, you were kind of run like that was happening. I was completely oblivious to like why or hows or anything like that. So kind of share like what kind of made you decide I want to do that, and what kind of got you into that idea?
So when I joined the sheriff's office, not long after I joined, it ended up being me and Nixon and Braden, and like we were the only 3 that were ever on. Like okay. that was it. Like nobody else was ever on, and the department was struggling. Dan, that was the sheriff, had a lot on his plate, way too much on his plate, and did a great job with what he had. But he was so busy. He was doing graphic stuff for the server. I mean, so much. He was the Discord like development lead. Like he had way too much on his plate. So the department kind of suffered a little bit from that. And I thought, hey, how can I improve? So I went through the promotion process, and at the time we had like 40 ranks. Like you were a deputy, and then you were a master deputy, and then you're a corporal, and then you're a senior corporal, and then you're a sergeant, a master. Like it was like all these different ranks, and it took weeks and weeks and weeks to get up there, right? So I got to the point where I made lieutenant, and that's when the sheriff's election started. And I was going to support another person in the department and just support him and go with it that way. But then Brent Riley was like, hey, man, you need to run for sheriff. And I was like, okay, tell me why. He's like, you need to run for sheriff. So I didn't tell anybody except for a few people.
No.
I made like a small private message like, hey, I'm going to do this. And we started planning. And I announced I was the first person to put in a ticket. I know I had to be because Kale posted the announcement, and immediately I put in my name like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
And then we talked. I ended up talking like 2 out of the 3 candidates that were running against me, or 4 candidates, into quitting and putting their support behind me during the campaign.
Nice. Nice.
And it more just came down to like, hey, we could work better together because Blitz put his name in the race, and we knew we were like. Sorry, give me 1 second.
No, you're good.
Pneumonia, man. Blitz put his name in the race, and we knew it was going to be hard. Like, Blitz is well liked. He's good at his job. He's a great cop. Like, he would do a good job at this. So we knew like it's going to be an uphill battle. So we started talking to people and telling them like, hey, we need to run together. So we did. It ended up the first election. Everybody dropped out in the long run. And I got a phone call one day from Denny or from Hammer and Kale and Aaron, and they're like, hey man, we got to talk to you. Everybody quit. So you're the sheriff.
Nice.
I was like, okay. That was December like 24th.
Yeah.
It was like Christmas Eve. And like, they're like, there's going to be a transition period. Dan will get you moved over. And like December 27th, Dan's like, all right, you ready? You're the sheriff now. And he was gone, like done, out the door. So started from that point, and we rebuilt the entire department. We rewrote the SOPs. Our SOPs were 3 pages when I took over. They're now like, I don't know. If you add it all up, it's probably closer to 150, 160 pages.
Wow.
Worth of SOPs. There's SOPs that, like, we have SOPs for everything. We have SOPs for stuff that we shouldn't have SOPs for. Like,
Sure.
We have fraternization policies. We have transfer policies. We have non-compete clauses. We have pursuit policies. We have arrest power policies. We have use of force. Like, we have everything that at the time was feasible. But all this stuff was done at 4 a.m. I was working in South Carolina at the time. I'd get up at 4 a.m., call Eisen, who's one of my majors. He lives in Canada. He's in the Army in Canada.
Okay.
And we would work from 4 a.m. until I got to work at 7.
Wow.
On this stuff.
Yeah.
Vehicle structures, uniform structures, all the policies. And it was crazy, man. Nobody knows the hours that a department head puts in outside of the server.
So,
like, it is not an RP position.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it very and in talking with when we talked with Deputy Chief Bradley and former Chief Slivers, both of them really kind of leaned into the fact that I think it's an important thing to kind of see is, man, those are work. I mean, you're working hard. They're not. It's definitely more administrative because of the oversight and the policies and procedures that you have to put in place. All right, I'm not reading chat, but it did see commander said, "Stuff we shouldn't have," and then starts naming all the stuff I made.
Yeah, pretty much. Smith helped a lot with some of that stuff.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, we were like we would. I mean, what would happen is me and Eisen would work on stuff, and I'd call Smith and like, "Hey, man, I need you to do this," and Smith would knock it out, and I'd send it over to Eisen and be like, "Hey, how do you think this looks?" And he's like, "Oh, it looks good." I'm like, "Cool, let's rock with it."
That's awesome.
You know, the thing about, like you said, it's more administrative because a department head in the server truly has the ability to affect positively or negatively the entire server.
Yeah.
Like, bad decisions can wreck the community.
Sure.
Because toxicity takes that much to take hold, and man, it's done. So when we came to this election, obviously I was going to run for re-election. There was a time I wasn't going to. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I don't, I'm done. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not done yet, so I'll run. And I ran, and elections suck. Real elections suck. I lost friends.
Wow.
I did. I mean, it is what it is.
And I was going to ask that because I have never run for sheriff in real life. I have never run for sheriff in RP life. So, I was legit gonna ask, like, what is that like? And I think you already kind of leaned into it. Like, it's grindy. It sucks.
It was so the first time was fun, right? You can go back in the RP announcements, it's still all there. We made commercials.
Yeah.
We made and it was right at Christmas time, so it was a cool, whatever. But like this second time, man, it's like from the get-go, people were out for blood. Like, immediately within 2 days, I hear stories about me being corrupt and all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, so we're gonna talk about this in character. Well, the sheriff has never sold a gun, has never done anything corrupt whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then it started being like it was out of character attacks. Well, you deserve a sheriff that's in only more than just at election time. Well, I went from playing every day, 48 hours at a time, to playing hardly ever because I changed jobs for a time period. And the job I was working at, I couldn't play. I didn't have time. I was too busy.
Sure.
But I was still in the Discord. I mean, you can ask anybody in my department. I'm in the Discord 7, 8, 10 hours a day. Like, I'm there. And as a department head, that's almost more important than even being in the game.
Sure.
So, the goal for when we ran for re-election was to continue what we started. And we made it through the muddy waters. It was rough. But obviously the server picked who they liked. I mean,
yeah.
I think I won by like 100 votes. And when you consider that only like 150 people voted, it's not bad.
Yeah, it was a strong percentage.
So that kind of reassured me that I was doing the right thing. I wanted to build a family when it came to BCSO when I rebuilt it, and I have. Not just me, my command staff, the deputies that play. Like, it is turned into a family. At any given time during the day, you can go into the BCSO conference room and there's 6, 7, 8, 9 people just spending their day together. They trust each other. We talk to each other about real life stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's what I really wanted, because when you think about a department in real life, it's a brotherhood.
Sure.
Whether that be a fire department, whether that be a police department, a sheriff's office, it's all a brotherhood. So it's nice that I was able to build that, because being in the position that I'm in the server, it's got to run itself.
Yeah.
Like, it has to.
Sure.
It doesn't have the ability. If I had to be there every single day, then we'd be in trouble. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, and one of the things that we say in my office are things that are led well or left well. And so, if you can't leave things well, then you haven't really led well to begin with. So
I agree.
all right, so I want to tack on to something that you already mentioned. I mentioned it, you mentioned it, but I want us to lean into it. And this is a conversation that I haven't had the chance to really have yet, and that's the side of the administrative side of TARP. And so, I want you to kind of lean into that because, I've been a part of the server for, several months. I started in October last year, really got into it in December. And so that's my time frame. But, there are times that come up and everybody's upset, a decision's made or something happens and everybody's, in an uproar. And there are different things and things come in waves and that's just the way it goes. And so I think it's an important conversation to hear from the admin side of the server, and kind of talk through what that is. Talk through what being an admin is, what that role is like, what those processes are like, and kind of shed some light in that for us.
Okay, so I joined staff. They put out mentor applications, and I fill out this long application and put a lot of effort into it, and then get a message like a week later, like, "Hey, we're going a different way in the with the mentor program, so we're not gonna be able to use you." So it's kind of like crushing. And then not long after that, I got brought on the moderation team, and really, staff should not be looked at as anybody with power because they're not.
Sure.
None of us have power. Tony has power, but he owns it. He can turn the lights off when he wants to. None of us have power. We are a group of like-minded individuals that are moving the server forward. Yeah. If you were to talk to Denny about me, I'm the outlier. I'm usually the one that says, no, I don't like that. If 9 times out of 10, if everybody's in agreement on something, I'm going to be the one that's going to say, hey, I don't like that. And this is why.
Yeah.
And you need that parity in staff. So started as a moderator, moved up into a roleplay assistant or a roleplay admin role back in February, working under Kale. Me and Kale, I think, have been through a lot lately because our entire team quit. Well, one got, one left the community, and then a bunch of our team quit. So me and Kale did it by ourselves for a little while and worked through, trying to help with that. But it's a team effort, and that's the thing is, you would have never known that we had gotten down to 2 people because all we had to do was turn to somebody else on the team.
Sure.
And say, hey, this is what we're working on. Everything's brought to the table. No decisions are made by one person. And if they are, they're brought to the table and like, for example, if Denny has something that he wants to bring to the community, he brings it to us and says, hey, this is what I'm thinking, thoughts. And he's really good about, he'll say, I'm reserving this time. Like, he'll post something at 7 a.m. and he said, we're discussing this till this time of the day and nothing else. We're not talking about anything else. This is what we're doing. And we will work through whatever that issue is. And it's very productive. A lot of people think that the admins are just people that are sitting there with their finger on the ban hammer waiting to ban somebody, and that's not the case. But we are guardians of the community. Like, yes. It is our job to protect the community. So if somebody comes in and causes an issue, we have to step up and do something about it.
Sure.
So I'm in a unique position, and Denny says it a lot. He talks to me. He's talked to me about it a couple times. I am a department head, who is also an admin.
Sure.
Which makes it hard for me on both ends. A lot of people think that I just do things for BCSO, and actually, I would say that I do less for BCSO than anybody else. I cannot and would not use my power to affect that. serve is about maintaining balance, and being on staff is about maintaining balance. And if civilian life is not going well, then Leo life's not going to go well.
Yeah.
And on the inverse, if Leo life's not going well, then civilian life's not going to go well. So it's funny how every day presents a new challenge for us to look at and try to build on what's going on.
Sure.
So I feel like it's important for people to know that we're human too. We play too. You know, we want to enjoy the community just as much as anybody else does.
So let me ask this question: what are the challenges for you specifically, player, admin? So, like, where do you find the balance in that? I'm Sheriff Willard. I'm playing as a character, but I'm also an admin.
I'm way too active in the Discord, and people see that red name, so people can't separate it. Like, there's no guys on my department can, because they spend every day with me. You know, they ride with me every day. You know, but in the general community, if I walk up to somebody and I'm talking to them, I get so when I negotiate with people, I'm a jerk. Like, I don't, and it's just the way I play my character.
Sure.
He's the sheriff of a county. I play him just like the sheriff in the county that I volunteered in. He retired a couple of years ago. He was that way. He was hard-nosed. He didn't care. Everybody knew him. He was a sheriff for 28 years. Like, but so when I tell people, like, hey, I'm going to hand, like, for example, you know, negotiating bank robberies. I told somebody I'd put a bullet in their head, and they're like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Watch me," and they're like, "Well, you know," or you know, I tell them, "You can either let the hostage go, or I'll handle this a different way." Well, I get somebody sent me a DM. They're like, "Are you really going to open a ticket on me for a hostage?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, I'm just RPing. Like, I'm just talking about, like, if you don't let the hostage go, I'm going to kill you. Like, that's what I mean." So, you know, it's one of those things. It's tough because that happens a lot.
Sure.
Like, man, whether I'm on a Crim character or on my Leo character, like, people, I have to be very intentional about what I say.
Yeah.
I can't let my role play just fly off the handle, because people think, oh, he's abusing his power, or oh, he's going to put me in a ticket or whatever. And it's like, never would cross my mind at all. But it's that blurred line, man. Like, you are looked at as an admin all the time.
Sure.
All the time. And I try to tell the mod team, like, especially recently, it's great that there's so much cohesion that we all, like, everybody wants to hang out together. But you gotta remember that, you know, in law enforcement, just showing up is a show of force.
Sure.
4 cops showing up is a show of force. So on the flip side of that, for the staff team, 4 admins showing up in one place is going to freak somebody out, whether you're trying to do something wrong or not. Like, you're just trying to play the game, and people think you're up to no good.
Yeah.
So it's difficult.
No, I bet. All right, let me ask this question, and I like the conversation about the admin. Tell me what, in the time that you've served in that role, in that capacity, tell me what you've learned. What is it that you have learned as an admin in those processes? You know, what have you taken away from that? What are you learning about through that?
I've learned, first, if Tony Messer or Denny is talking, shut up and listen.
Okay.
Those guys, especially Denny, have so much knowledge to impart. Like, Denny says it all the time. He's not trying to build staff. He's trying to help build people.
Sure.
Like, and he has made a difference in my life. Like, and he doesn't even know it. Like, in the way I do things, because I'm learning the problem solving skills and the stuff that I'm learning through him help me out in my career field. So I've learned that. I've learned when they talk, listen, because they've got a lot of good knowledge to impart.
Sure.
Learned that taking constructive criticism is not a bad thing.
No.
You can learn a lot about yourself just by taking those negative comments and examining, hey, what's the true intent behind it? Like, what are they really? What's really being said? Um, so, and then I've also learned that people come in all different shapes and sizes. Um, Not one blanket doesn't fit everybody. You can't treat every situation the same. Um, and when that ticket opens up, we have to make sure that we adjust based on who the person is that's coming to us, so that we don't turn somebody away for the wrong reason. You it's important. We're not building a gameplay. This is not a gameplay community, man.
Right.
Like, anybody that comes in this community thinking you're just coming to play a game, no.
Yeah.
We're here. We're a family. We care about each other. Like, it's so much different than any other place. I've joined other Discords to see what they look like and
Sure.
how things go, and it's nothing like this. Like, nothing.
Yeah.
And,
No, I agree, and I think and I say this, and I sound like a broken record, like I don't have any other thoughts, but the same thing, kind of the same theme, always comes back up. It's you enter because you watched a TikTok, you thought it was dope. I want to do that. I want to be a cop on a video game, like what they're doing, and you really discover it is way more than that. It's deeper than that. You realize there's a message behind, the message behind what we're doing, the community, the relationships behind what is happening inside of the academy. And so it is way deeper than just a video game.
I mean, people don't understand, like, the streamer rules, for example. Like, why do we have rules? Because we're not just here for games. We're here to push a message. We're here to say that cops aren't bad people.
Yeah.
Firefighters aren't bad people. People that wear a badge are humans. They put on their pants the same way every day, except for Messer and Slivers, who doesn't put on any pants. But, they put on their pants the same way you do every day. They go to work and they want to come home.
Yeah.
They're not bad people. They and that's the message we want to put out. We want to put out that it's okay to not understand something, but it's not okay to stay that way.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we always keep that in the forefront of our minds when we're doing stuff like that, when we're streaming, when we're in the city, when we're creating content ideas, when we're facilitating content, when we're just having regular RP scenes. It's not about a game. It's not, man. The game could be the last thing I could ever care about. It's, I care about you. I care about how your day's going. Is everything going? Or I haven't seen you in the city in a few days, man. Are you good? Like, is everything cool? I check on the guys in the department. One of the guys that I used to see all the time, I hadn't seen him in a while, so I hit him up, like, man, you good? And that's the thing is, that's this community. I would expect the same out of anybody else, community wise. So
awesome, man. So I want to go to some questions. We got tons that are coming in. I want to. And I really, honestly, I could have this conversation with you. I think it's so intriguing, just kind of talking about this side of the community. So let me kind of close out this part with one more question. If there one thing that you would hope that the community would know about the admins and the admin decisions, whether you like it, you don't like it, you're for it, you're not for it. What is it that you hope that they remember, regardless of what comes down, regardless of what decisions made? What are you hoping that they remember?
That's a good question.
And I know that for you in this role, you speak for a lot of different. I'm asking you as admin, you serve in one role in a big team of that, but if y'all were in a room and y'all were sharing, having a conversation. What do you think that the consensus of that room would be to say, hey, here's what we want you to know ultimately about the admins. When a decision's good and you like it, or in your opinion, the decision's wrong, you like a direction we're going, you don't like a direction that we're going, whatever the case may be, here is what we want you to remember about that, about this team and what we're trying to accomplish.
One, we're people too. We're humans. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to own those mistakes when we make them. Two, we are never, ever going to do something intentionally that's going to harm the city. Every decision is discussed. Every decision is, ran back and forth, looked at 3 different ways. When we did the rules update, we sat in the VC for a few hours going over them, went back, worked on them, came back, sat in the VC for a few more hours, and stuff like that happens. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times, we get into a VC and we're there for 5 hours just hammering on stuff. We may not come to a decision that day. Decisions you see that come to the community, it's been a little bit. We've discussed it. It may be days. It could be weeks. There's stuff we're working on right now that we've been working on, and like projects I'm working on, I've been working on them for a few weeks. Because we all have a role and we all have stuff that we're handling. So we're never going to do anything that we would intentionally think would harm the community. And community comes first.
Community comes first. I like that. I think one of the most interesting things that you said right there to me was, we're in a call for 5 hours or whatever, because in my line of work, we make decisions, and I'm sure for a lot of people that are in the chat and for you and others, you make decisions, and the people that hear the decisions, they weren't in the conversations that led to it. And so, and sometimes it's a matter of perspective, because you only see, I heard it this way: you only read one side of the bottle, and unless you take time to walk around to the other side of the bottle, you never know what the other side says, because you're only looking at one side of it.
It's kind of like being an umpire. My dad umpired for 25 years, and I did it for a little bit. And what my dad said, he said, "Son, you're going to piss off half the people half the time. Every single call, every single decision you make, somebody's going to be angry." So it is what it is, because you're right. You're not going to see our back. It's discipline. Discipline's a perfect example. A lot of times I've heard it, especially recently, people are afraid to open tickets because they think nothing's going to be done about it, because we won't discuss other people's discipline. We just don't. Sure. It's a good policy to have.
Sure.
If it's egregious, we do. I mean, you've seen Denny make the post. Hey, these people, we banned people for cheating today. Harassment. We banned people for harassment. But it's a good policy to have, not to tell anybody. But because of that, it gives this weird vibe that nothing happened.
Sure.
Well, what ends up happening is, okay, Guido broke a rule. We banned him for 24 hours. Well, Ganch reported him, but Ganch didn't come back in for 3 days, and then he sees Guido playing. Well, Guido done served his 24-hour ban, but Ganch thinks nothing was done about it because he sees him in the city next time.
Right.
But those are the little things that don't even think about it.
Sure.
So that's a really good way of putting it. You only see half the story, but I promise the whole story is a lot better than people think it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that, I think that's important. Perspective always, it always is so important when you're processing information. I don't like this, or I'm not happy about this. Well, I don't understand. And I think that's true of anybody. Like, you see somebody in a grocery store, and they tick you off, and all of a sudden you think, well, that person's a jerk. Well, I don't know their story. I don't know what kind of day that they've had. So I can't make the assumption that because of my perspective and they were rude to me, that they're jerks. They're just having a bad day.
Man, you have no idea how close people are. Like, and you do because of what you do, and I do because of what I do.
Sure.
But walking through the store on a daily basis, you don't know what those persons are going through.
Right.
It could be the worst day of their life, and a smile or a simple hello could brighten their day. And that's the thing, is we don't know everybody's story, so we can't treat everybody like we do.
Yeah.
You got to treat everybody like you want to change their story. For a long time in our phase 1 training for BCSO, and I think the slides are still in there, we had a slide that said, you don't know what somebody's going through. Most people have bad interactions with cops. Be the cop that changes their mind about it.
Yeah.
Be the cop that changes somebody's mind about, cops. Be the person that changes somebody's mind. be the admin that makes people trust you as an admin.
Sure. No, that's good. That's good, man. This is great stuff, and I know I could stay here all day. I'm sure your wife would eventually like for you to get out of here.
She's come in the kitchen a couple of times. I'm shocked to see her. She's like made little appearances.
I got you. All right. Hey, let's go to some community questions, man. We've got some stuff that's come in, things I want to kind of bring up and mention to you. Okay. Diaper says, I thought I turned this off. All right. Diaper said, why does Willard threaten so many criminals with life in prison? It's a tragedy.
Because it works. Look, I want to say right now, bro, Diaper's been arrested like 56 times. Like, come on. So, what he's talking about is he kidnapped our administrative assistant the other day, and he asked for $500,000. And I told him, here's the thing: I'll either give you the $500,000, and I'm gonna call a judge and get a life sentence, or because it was him and Joker,
yeah,
and or I'll let you go to jail for just the kidnapping charges, and we won't worry about the money. He's like, okay. Like, and I mean, come on, man. You got to remember that at some point, and this comes up all the time, at some point, enough's enough. And that character comes to an end. I mean, I killed off JR. JR was my first character I ever made in the city. He was the one that punched everybody in the face. And it was a hard day. You know, I killed him off, and he was done. But and sometimes those storylines have to come to an end for new storylines to start.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Commander says, who were some of the most influential people in helping to rebuild BCSO with you?
I mean, the entire department. I could sit here and pick out names. Like 100%, I could sit here and say this person did this and this person did that. But if it wasn't for everybody that's stuck here and been with us the whole time and is still here, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be a department.
Okay.
You know, I've had guys tell me they've come to me like, hey man, I want to transfer. And I'm like, all right, well, let's talk about it. That's fine. Like, cool. You know, we have a process that we do for it, but it's like, I just want to know. And after they talk to me, they're like, you know what? I'm good. I'll stay here. It's like, man, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance to talk to it. And that's the thing is every single person that's in the department, we gotta have everybody to be a well-oiled machine.
Sure.
They've all made significant contributions. Every single one of them, even the newest cadets.
Okay. Who is the in your role as the sheriff? Who's the most challenging? Criminal that you've had to chase?
So challenging that I've had to chase
or capture, or you know, if there's a couple, you could mention a couple of them.
All right. So the most difficult person in the city to chase is Hammer.
Okay.
If you ever get into a chase with Hammer, and you get an opportunity to end it, you better end it when you can. Okay. Because that man will smoke your tail. And I almost got him the other day, and then freaking Ricky had the metal in it, and he got away. So, but when it comes to like difficulty, it's got to be Robin or Dipa. Okay. Like Dipa's going to try to talk his way out of every situation, and Robin's she's gonna make your life, crazy for that 10-15 minutes you're with her. It's fun. She makes me smile.
Yeah. Okay. I like this from Big Swifty says, what's the most unique character? No, that's not the question I want to ask. Oh, here it is. What's a character that you've seen that you wish that you could see more of that doesn't show up often enough? Anybody like that stand out to you?
Ricky Surf. No, I'm just kidding. Man, Dale Brown. Dale Brown. That just the concept for his character is great. There was a couple of guys that aren't around anymore that had some really good. They just moved on from 5M. Don't play anymore. They were pretty fun. But Leroy, I haven't seen Leroy in a hot minute.
Okay.
And Leroy's one of the first people I met when I came to the city. So I'd like to see him see Leroy a little bit more.
I've got a good clip I need to post on TikTok of Ricky Surf, and I can't wait to post it.
Ricky Surf's wild, man.
Yeah, that's a wild character in the city for sure, for sure. Skittle says, "Who is Leroy?"
He knows who Leroy is.
All right, tell me this. Give me kind of some of your, like, let's say you can't play anymore, or that's a bad way to put it, but some of your best memories, like some of the things that you still think about when you think about good times in the city. What's the story there that you could share? Anything you can think of?
Man, so when we took Messer hostage, we were sitting in a voice chat, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to kidnap Messer tonight." He had no idea it was coming. We didn't tell anybody that we were going to do it.
Yeah.
Like none of the content facilitators, because at the time it was a small group. We didn't tell any of them. We just got together and did it. And it RPing with him and Slivers and Wang, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, that was hilarious. Like
Yeah.
that whole scene was just fun. Like, and you get in that time warp. That scene was so long. Like I think it was like an hour and 45 minutes long, but to me it felt like 10 minutes because we were having so much fun with it. And you know, there's days back in the ESX server, man, hanging out at the Yellow Jack. People, it was nothing for people to come up to the Yellow Jack and spend 20, 30, 45 minutes just standing there, like just hanging out, man, like not going nowhere, not in no hurry. And it was, those are some of the best memories I have, was spending that time together in that, in that time. Like nobody hangs out in the county anymore. That's cool because all the cool kids run around the city and do hood rat stuff with their hood rat friends.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget people stumbling out of the Yellow Jack and RP and stuff like that. It's just fun, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy any day I get to ride with Ricky because he makes me laugh. We do stupid stuff, and then we just kind of look at each other like, that didn't happen, right? Like, oh no, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So we have a good time. We have a good time.
Yeah, the things when you look and like, hey, that didn't happen, right? Those are always the best, I think.
Yeah, like we give each other a hard time all the time because he'll either fly out of the windshield or I'll run smack into a wall because I don't know how to drive. We rolled a car the other day and we were just like, oh, okay, well I guess we're done. Like I guess we're out of the chase. So
nice, very cool. All right, man. Hey, I wanna kind of close out our time with this thought, and I think it's my favorite way to kind of end these interviews, and it's this. You have a chance to sit down. You've got an elevator ride with someone. You're passing by. Somehow or another, the idea of the community comes up. What are you telling them? How are you? What is your conversation with them? That's like just kind of sharing your what we're building, what the community is about, why it's a special place, and why they should jump in here and do it with us.
Because it's even better on the inside than it looks like on the outside. We are a place where everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter if you've been RPing for 40 years or 40 minutes. We love everybody. Everybody's welcome. It doesn't matter what's your shape, size, disability. We love it. I mean, we want everybody. It's a place to call home. It's a place to grow, to meet people, to truly dive deep into what the world of role play has to offer. I mean, I probably still don't understand role play the way that I should.
Sure.
And that sounds kind of crazy, seeing as I'm a role play admin, but I feel like there's very real like there's very real emotions and mindsets behind um, you know what we do, and you never understand how special of a place it is and a special place to do that until you come in. When you see the Operation Ice Cream and Tony and them go out and hand out ice cream, or the Operation Santa's handlebars, where our community gets to support that kid getting something on Christmas that he wouldn't have had otherwise. When a person comes to us in the community and says, that they're having a bad day, and we're able to help them turn them around. It's just it's a special place, man. It's a different world. Um, you know, I've built very real friendships with people that are in completely different states. I mean,
Sure.
Ricky's in Washington, and we're talking about how I'm going to send him a T-shirt, and Tim's in Maine, and he's going to ship me a pack and play that he doesn't. He says it's brand new and we never use it, but I want it out of my house. So it's like you build these friendships, and these it's like family. It's a big family. So we have a lot to offer, and we can really make a difference if everybody jumps on board. We're having growth right now that's awesome, and the more we sustain that growth, the more we go. I think bigger and better things are coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you that your staff team is on mission. Your community management is especially on mission, and I think we're really moving forward.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Well, brother, thank you. Thank you so much, man. What a great conversation. Like I said, I could literally talk through some of these things all night long, and but I know, man, you got family to take care of and all that kind of good stuff. So, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the city, sir.
Yeah, brother. You take care. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Have a great one. Thank you, buddy.
See ya.
See you, man.